Greetings, heroes and adventurers. I am the Ancient Gamer, and today we're going to take a look at Tomb Raider, well, Shadow of the Tomb Raider to be a little more precise there, and it has just officially joined the list of optimized for Series S and X games for the Xbox Series consoles. Before we go any further, I'd like to remind you you can like this video. It's the little thumbs up button, and please subscribe to my channel. It always feels good. So initially, Shadow of the Tomb Raider was one of 70 games to come out like all at once and get an FPS Boost Patch, and it was kind of awesome. It was sort of the star of the show because it was able to retain its 4K resolution, its beautiful graphics, and still run at 60 frames per second. Which, you know, the whole thing is kind of puzzling to me because, you know, games like Far Cry 5 and Fallout 4, they also received FPS boost patches, but the problem is that their resolution was dropped to 1080p to hold a steady 60, and it sort of mystifies me a little bit. I don't know exactly what's going on, if it's something to do with the backwards compatible mode that they're running on, or how that is, but you know, the Series X should be able to run all those games at, you know, their standard, you know, 4K resolution and 60 frames per second. But for whatever reason, Microsoft seems to think if it's not like 100% Loctite locked, they're just going to go ahead and default to 1080p, which it kind of bites. But anyway, as far as Shadow of the Tomb Raider goes, it didn't do that. It was sort of the star of the show, and it was just absolutely beautiful and a joy to play at 60 and 4K. And now that it's received the Xbox Series X and S optimized patch, one thing I've noticed is that the load times are much quicker and decreased. So they obviously did get under the hood and do a little bit of tweaking here. It's not just, you know, relabeling the FPS Boost patch. And it seems like the HDR implementation is a little stronger. Maybe the texture details have been increased a little bit as Lara hacks the shit out of this eel here. Okay, and let's see. She's going to swim up. And yeah, everything just looks really, really, really good and really, really nice. But for me, I find this to be just an absolutely gorgeous game. I mean, you look at the details here in the jungle, the little water ripples there, and it, you know, from the little shallow thing here, and even all like the close-ups and the skin textures and the animations. It just, I'm really impressed with this game. I really, really like it. It's also really fun to play too. The gameplay loop is excellent. And here, you know, I'm trying to get enough tools here. This is the Peruvian jungle. I have not played all the way through the entire game yet. I am currently, like, recreationally playing this game, along with about 4 or 5 others. That's kind of one of my problems, is I'm always playing way too many games at once. But right now, this is one of them. And here she's cutting down her gear, and she has to go after it there. She's going to find her. She's going to find her pickaxe and be very pleased with that. Oh, and a bow. And see here now, the detail work on the bow is just exceptional. It's a really, really pretty game. Little sweat beads on her arms and things. It just looks really, really good. It appears to me to be as next gen as anything out there right now. You know, with you know, maybe a possible exception is something like Flight Simulator. But otherwise, this game really, you know, it's just about as good graphically as almost anything out there on the Series X or the PlayStation 5. And of course, this is available. This patch has been made available for PlayStation 5 also. I think it runs at a slightly lower resolution. And here we go. We're just going to use our rope arrows. And we're going to do a little bit of tomb raiding here. This is one of the side quest tombs. You know, and these are kind of tricky. One thing that's really cool about this game that I found to be, you know, a kind of a lifesaver is that you can adjust the difficulty of different aspects of the game independently of each other. So, like, I can set the combat on normal or high and the puzzles on easy, which is really fortunate for me because, as I have said before, I am terrible at puzzles. If the puzzles get too hard, I have to call on my daughter for help, sometimes my wife, Mrs. Ancient Gamer, and it isn't pretty. I'm easily confused by puzzles. You know, to so much so, let's put it like this. When I'm playing Lego games, at some point in almost every Lego game on almost every level, there is a part where I will just pull my hair out trying to figure out what piece I need to put where. And Lego games are not exactly known for being super challenging. But I've been able to figure most of these out so far, and that's good. I like it to be difficult enough to make me work a little bit, but not so difficult that I'm constantly stuck. And I think this game really does, hit this. If you, adjust the difficulty level to different things, to whatever fits your play style. I'm pretty good at combat, pretty good at exploring, pretty bad at puzzles. They're just gonna grunt that thing open. And I went ahead and cut that because there wasn't anything really incredibly cool to see when she opens it up. I always think this is really cool when she uses her rope arrow to set up a zip line and climb up it. You always get a nice view. Yeah, and these tombs are really well rendered. The lighting is excellent. Texture detail is quite good. Excellent game. Now, there are some hardcore fans of Tomb Raider that just really don't like this game or any of these 3 games here. This is a pretty cool scene.
Oh no.
Any of the rebooted games they don't really care for that much because they are kind of heavy on cutscenes. They play a little bit like Uncharted, although I wouldn't know. I've never played Uncharted. I don't have a PlayStation, but I'm told that these play a lot like Uncharted. This is sort of the key scene so far in the Peruvian jungle. But yeah, there's a lot of people that don't, hardcore Tomb Raider fans that don't take to these games because they don't play, a lot like the original games or the middle trilogy, Tomb Raider Legend, Anniversary, and Underworld. I'm very fond of Legend, Anniversary, and Underworld. I think those might be my favorite Tomb Raider games because they sort of meld the old school classic Tomb Raider gameplay that I remember from like the PlayStation 1 and 2 days with updated, better looking, sharper graphics and cleaner gameplay. But the original games are a little too clunky for me. Here we go. Here's El Tigre. Well, El Leopardo. El Tigre. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I got, when I was playing through this, I got definitely a little bit of like shivers when this thing came up on me. Or on her. Especially when this other one came out. I thought this was a really well done scene. Except that in real life, that would have been it. They would have been having lunch right now with her already. But of course it's a game and they have to take some artistic license. But yeah, no, in real life she'd be up in a tree right now and they'd be picking their teeth with, with their claws. But so that is the debate when it comes to Tomb Raider, I think, is there's your hardcore fans that just can't get into these new games, and then there's the people that are, have discovered Tomb Raider through the new games and don't see what the big deal is about the old games. And me, I'm sort of one of these people where I remember playing Tomb Raider 2 was the first one that I played on a PlayStation, gosh, I think it was a PlayStation 1. It might have been a PS2, I'm not sure, and I really loved it. It was really hard, it was long, but it was really fun. It's kind of tough to get these leopards lined up just right with the bow, but fortunately it's easy enough, to where they try not to let you die. So they give you plenty of leeway for, missing and hitting, and I was eventually able to, to save myself here. But for me, anyway, I discovered, Tomb Raider from PlayStation 1, and I really enjoyed those games. Now I find them to be just a little too clunky. I can't play the old originals. I really like Legend, Anniversary, and Underworld quite a bit, and I really like that classic gameplay. I wish they'd remake those games, but I also like these. They're completely different, but they are related, and there are overtones of the original games in here. You definitely feel like there's a connection between this Lara and the other Laras, although she has been rebooted. And let's face it, times are changing. I mean, they had to probably change the way she looks because people are more sensitive to things like that, this is a great character. The Lara Croft of the past was a great character. I don't see any reason why you can't like both iterations. And that's pretty much how I see it. I like both iterations just fine. Yeah, once again, she'd be lunch. He'd be picking his teeth, looking for a napkin. I personally felt like this was a really strong scene. I really enjoyed the cinematics here. You know, I don't have a problem with a game that's heavy on cutscenes. It helps to really make the story seem to click a little better. Gives it a more cinematic feel to it, like you're, playing sort of a movie. And of course, now she comes across the crash. Probably all of you gamers out there have played through this further than me. But yeah, she's about to get her climbing axe now. She's very, very, very pleased to find it. Oh, my climbing axe. And there she goes. And of course she hooks back up with Jonah here too. And I have to say, I really, really like the character of Jonah. As support characters go, he's awesome. Really well done.
Hey,
a great addition to the game. But that's pretty much it. That's if you're wondering what Shadow of the Tomb Raider looks like on the Xbox Series X, this is it. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you do, give it a like. Consider subscribing to my
I was
channel.
looking for some more wood, but it doesn't grow around here.
Let me see.
I am the Ancient Gamer. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, please make it happy. Give it a like. It really helps. Looking for more of a long-term commitment? Subscribe to the Ancient Gamer channel and ring the bell. It always feels good. Remember, it's all about the games we play and love to play. It's all about the games.